week 5 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few running backs I looked at on the waiver wire this week. The first guy, Mike Boone of the Denver Broncos. So right here, Javonte Williams went down in the latter part of the ball game in week 4. And it's a serious injury, it looks like reports are coming out. And he was spotted on crutches in the locker room. So Mike Boone and Melvin Gordon will be the two backs in this backfield here. But Mike Boone younger, and he's got some versatility as well where he can catch the ball a little bit better out of the backfield more than Melvin Gordon. So in the ball game, 3 carries, 20 yards, a catch for 9 yards. And Melvin Gordon, he had 3 carries as well, but he didn't do anything. He had a fumble loss with 8 yards in that ball game. So right now, Boone, he's a big add off the waiver wire this week, especially once the results come back on Javonte Williams. And if he's out multiple weeks or for the season, he's the number 1 add on, in my opinion, on the waiver wire. Him with George Pickens, depending what position you need. But anyway, Mike Boone, he's a guy you got to go out there and get. Starting running backs are tough to come by and tough to even get points by at that number 2 running back position. A lot of running backs this season haven't gotten the job done. So right now, Mike Boone available right now in 100% of fantasy leagues. And I would go out there and get him, especially if this injury is a huge one like many people think. The next guy, Latavius Murray of the New Orleans Saints. So we know Alvin Kamara missed the ball game in week 4 versus the Minnesota Vikings in London, which was surprising. But Latavius Murray and Ingram manned the backfield. And Murray, he looked pretty good. He had some good runs. He was finishing runs, running over defenders, and he found the end zone as well in the week 4 ball game. So 11 carries, 57 yards, a touchdown, and a catch for 8 yards. So right here, Mark Ingram, I think his best days are behind him. He looks pretty much finished over there in New Orleans. And Alvin Kamara, this rib injury is definitely concerning. So right now, we'll see what the status is with Kamara. But right now, Murray available in 99% of fantasy leagues. And from the eye test, he looks like the better running back over there in New Orleans to be behind Kamara or to spot start, because this is the second ball game this season that Kamara missed. And maybe this injury is more serious than we thought. But right now, if you need a running back and are desperate for one, Latavius Murray is out there as well, and he's available in 99% of fantasy leagues. The next guy is Brian Robinson Jr. of the Washington Commanders. So right now, he's going to be activated for week 5, it looks like, is Robinson. And this Commander run offense hasn't been good. They've been going through guys. Antonio Gibson, they're not high on him, obviously. Robinson was going to be the starter coming into the season before he had an accident, obviously, off the field. Then we saw Jonathan Williams get some carries in that ball game versus the Cowboys in week 4. And Shady Mckissick, we know, has got that passing downs back. Got that passing downs assignment on lock over there. So Robinson in week 5, I think they're going to slow their roll with him. A lot of people, they think that he's going to be the starter right away. But I think it's going to be a committee over there in Washington. But Robinson right now, he's still available in 46% of fantasy leagues. So if you need a running back this week, I think Robinson's a decent air, the guy to take a flyer on and stash on your bench and see what he could do. The next running back's Deon Jackson of the Indianapolis Colts. So right now, reports are coming that Jonathan Taylor might have a high ankle sprain, and this ball game is Thursday night already between the Colts and the Denver Broncos. Obviously, a short turnaround. We've seen some players play on high ankle sprains, but we don't know if Jonathan Taylor is going through. So right here, I know Deon Jackson, he's not a guy that not many people know about, but Jonathan Taylor, if he's out, Naheem Hines, he's not going to be the every down back, in my opinion, over here for this Indianapolis Colts team. And I know Hines, in the ball game, he only had 1 carry for 2 yards in that one and 2 catches for 3 yards. So right now, we got to wait and see what happens with Taylor. But right now, early reports are he might have a high ankle sprain. And I think Deon Jackson and Naheem Hines will share the backfield over there in Indianapolis. But we know Hines ain't a between-the-tackle type of runner, where Jackson probably will be for this Colt team unless they sign a veteran. But right now, he's available in 100% of fantasy leagues. It's a name to put out there, especially with not much going on the waiver wire this week at the running back position, besides Mike Boone and maybe Brian Robinson Jr. as the top 2 priorities. Deon Jackson's a guy I have on the list this week. The next guy is Tyler Algier of the Atlanta Falcons. Algier, he played pretty good football in this ball game, and he got double-digit carries, is Algier, for this Atlanta Falcon team. So we know Cordell Patterson's been playing good football this season, but he's a guy that's not really a running back. He's a wide receiver converted to a running back over the last few seasons. So right here, 10 carries, 84 yards, and a catch for 20 yards for Algier. And he's available right now in tons of fantasy leagues at 84%. So right here, the last few games for him, week 3 at Seattle, 6 carries, 25 yards, a catch 5 yards. And then week 4 versus Cleveland, like I mentioned, he got the double-digit touches. And week 5, I know, tough matchup at Tampa Bay. But right here, like I said, not much on the wire this week here. And it's something to pay attention to. Even Huntley, their third-string running back, had double-digit carries in this one. So right here, they're trying to cut back on Patterson's workload a little. But obviously, Algier is the backup to Cordell Patterson. And a guy they drafted, obviously, in the NFL draft this year, where they actually have interest and could be using him later on in the season even more. So right now, he's definitely a running back I would add. And the final running back I look to add this week here, Rashad White of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So right here, this Buc team, they got smoked by the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. By the third quarter, this ball game wasn't close, and Rashad Whitey got a couple series in this one and looked pretty good besides the fumble loss in this ball game. 5 targets, 5 catches, 50 yards in that one, and he had 3 carries, 6 yards with a goal line touchdown. So right here, he's going to get more of a role. Leonard Fournette, he's been handling 80%, 85% about of the snaps here, and they want to get White more involved, they said before that week 4 ball game. And right here they did, and he played good football. So right here, it's the most run he saw this season. Available right now in tons of fantasy leagues at 73%. And if a guy like this is going to have a decent role where he's going to get a few series with a good offense like Tampa Bay, there's no doubt about it. You got to go out there and take a flyer. Or I obviously have to mention it. So that's a few running backs I looked at on the waiver wire here for week 5 of the fantasy football season.